Professor Alan Thorne loved his job. Teaching literature at the prestigious Hawthorne College was his life's passion, and he enjoyed the excitement each new batch of students brought. This semester was no different, with a fresh group of eager faces filling his classroom. Among them, however, was one student who made him uneasy from the very start. Her name was Evelyn, a quiet 21-year-old who seemed to blend into the background except for one strange thing. She would constantly stare at Professor Thorne, her eyes following him everywhere. Whenever she had the chance, she would find reasons to touch him, handing him a pen, passing a book, each time letting her fingers linger on his skin, sending chills down his spine. One afternoon, when the classroom was empty, Professor Thorne finally asked, "Evelyn, why do you do that?" Evelyn's eyes lit up as she stepped closer.
I like you, Professor. I want you to be my boyfriend.
Shocked, Professor Thorne stepped back. He was newly married, his wife and infant son, the center of his world. "Evelyn, that's impossible. I'm married. This can't happen." Her face fell, but the longing in her eyes did not go away. Over the following weeks, her behavior grew more intense. She would appear unexpectedly, always trying to touch him, her eyes filled with a disturbing mix of desire and sadness. He started to feel like he was being watched all the time. In the meantime, Professor Thorne noticed something strange. Whenever he stayed late at the college or got home late at night, he would often see a black cat. It seemed to be following him, its piercing eyes glowing in the dark. The cat would sit and watch him from a distance, disappearing into the shadows whenever he tried to approach it. Its presence was unsettling, and he couldn't shake the feeling that it was somehow connected to a darker force. One night, as Professor Thorne was leaving the college after grading papers late, he saw the black cat again. It was sitting on the hood of his car, its eyes reflecting the dim streetlight. He tried to shoo it away, but it simply stared at him, unblinking. Finally, it slipped into the darkness, leaving him with a lingering sense of dread. Then came the farewell party, the night that changed everything. The party was in full swing when Professor Thorne stepped into the restroom. He was washing his hands when the door creaked open and Evelyn slipped inside. Panic surged through him. "Evelyn, you can't be in here. If someone sees us..." Tears streamed down her face as she moved closer, her voice a desperate whisper.
I love you, Professor. I want to kiss you.
Before he could react, she kissed him, her hands roaming his body. In a moment of weakness, he gave in to her advances. What followed was a blur of secretive encounters, each one more reckless than the last. Evelyn would lead him to a secluded spot under an ancient oak tree on campus, where their forbidden passion would unfold. The thrill and danger of it were intoxicating, yet deeply unsettling. One day, after another encounter under the oak tree, Professor Thorne saw the black cat again. It was sitting at the edge of the clearing, its eyes fixed on him. A shiver ran down his spine as he realized the cat was always there, watching. He tried to ignore it, but the cat's presence was a constant, unnerving reminder of his guilt. Then, Evelyn fell ill. She refused medical help, her cryptic words haunting him.
No one can cure me.
Confusion and guilt gnawed at Professor Thorne, but soon, she stopped coming to class. His calls and texts went unanswered. Evelyn had vanished, leaving him with a gnawing emptiness and a creeping sense of dread. Weeks turned into months, and Professor Thorne almost forgot about her. Life returned to normal. The memory of Evelyn began to fade, though he couldn't shake a lingering unease. The black cat still appeared from time to time, always watching, always waiting. One stormy evening, as he sat alone watching television, there was a knock at the door. The rain pounded against the windows, and thunder rumbled in the distance. Professor Thorne got up, the uneasy feeling growing stronger with each step. Opening the door, he found a young boy, no older than 6, standing in the rain. The boy's clothes were soaked, his face pale.
"Hello, Father,"
the boy said, his voice eerily calm. A chill ran down Professor Thorne's spine. "Wait, what?" "Who are you?" he asked, his voice trembling. The boy's eyes, so familiar and yet so strange, met his. They seemed to glow with a strange light.
Evelyn sent me, Father.